So I'll be talking about my personal ethical uh, morals and the ethical morals of Gordon Ramsay as well. He will be my anti-hero, and I will say what I think is interesting about him and if I agree with him or not. So where's the moral sauce, Gordon? So first of all, a background to my personal ethics. I believe in the ethical theory of doing the greater good for everybody, even if there are sacrifices. And so this theory, for it to work, most people, if not all, have to believe in it as well. And I believe in sacrifices for the greater good. Um, I believe that if I have to give up something, but if I'm putting happiness into the world, I think it's worth it. I know not everybody thinks that way, but that's just how I personally think about it. And it's something that I use every day with just personal dilemmas that I have. And that's just turning me into the person I am, which a lot of people don't um, see eye to eye with. So I wanted to talk about the anti-hero, Gordon Ramsay, and how he differs from my personal ethics. Um, yeah. And so first of all, why does he roast people? Well, he's interesting because he's known for his aggressiveness and chefs, towards the chefs on his show. And I personally would never yell at somebody in the moment if I knew it would hurt their feelings. But he does that, and I want to ask why. And I think that's why it's so important to look at interviews to see him as a different person than on TV. Because when you see him on TV, he's a character. He is Gordon Ramsay, the mean, loud chef. But there's a reason he's doing all of this. First of all, he's a character. Second of all, he has explained in interviews before that Hell's Kitchen is filled with professional chefs that have been doing it for 20 plus or 16 plus years. Um, and they also want to work at a restaurant, at his restaurant, be a head chef at one of his restaurants. And it is such a top tier restaurant that Gordon Ramsay, I think, is egotistical in this way, that he wants to make sure that they don't break when somebody yells at them or when somebody just talks back to them. Like they know how to take charge of a kitchen. And I do think that is egotistical of Gordon Ramsay to say and to want to put that message out that you have to be rude and loud and be hardcore for anybody to listen to you. But I also think he does it for the greater good part of him because it is his restaurant and he is feeding people. He wants people to have the best experience they have because of how much they pay. Also, how is his personality in other ethical dilemmas? He does have a kids show, and the way he talks to the children is so much more different. So that's where he really shows his morals, and that he understands the difference between an adult and a child, and the fact that he grew up not wanting to even be a chef. I think see he doesn't see himself in them. He sees them as something that as they're trying to catch their dream. Um, but he probably knows that they won't even, some of them might even do that just as a hobby when they're older or may become different things. So he acts a different way. And also in Kitchen Nightmares, he acts a completely different way as well because he tries to help restore restaurants that are going downhill. And so he's doing this for other people and not just for him. Of course, he is a little aggressive about it, but there are people who are really disrespectful to him. So I do understand that, and it is hard because he's a complicated human being. Like, every human being has feelings. And I don't think. So that comes to the last question, like, is he a good person? I think that his way of dealing with ethical dilemmas are a little extreme, but at the end of the day, he's not a bad person. He does congratulate these people on their successes, and the he wants the best outcome for everybody, even if it may seem a little egotistical. And he may be the anti-hero that we all see on Chef TV, but I think that in all, he tries his best, and he's not perfect, just like any other human being.